In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace a front wheel bearing, front hub, and both seals, which should be done all together on a Subaru Forester. They're located behind the front wheel. After you've raised and supported the vehicle safely, you need to remove your 5 lug nuts. These are 19mm nuts. And remove your wheel. You need to remove your caliper with the bracket off the knuckle. By doing that, there's 2 17mm bolts. Just remove them. Once you remove your caliper, just hang it off to the side. Once your caliper is removed, remove your rotor. Now on the back side of your backing plate that mounts to your knuckle is your ABS sensor. That's held in by one 12mm bolt. You need to remove that. After removing the bolt, you need to remove the sensor. The sensor comes straight out. Sometimes these get stuck. So if you pry on it, it should come out. Put that off to the side. Your outer tie rod has a castle nut with a pin. Our pin is heavily rusted, so I'm just going to drill it out. And there's your pin. Now remove your nut. Once we remove our nut, now we need to remove our outer tie rod from our knuckle. You can hit this area right here with a rubber mallet until it comes off. Now your lower pinch bolt for your ball joint, which is a 14mm. Now you have to separate your lower control arm from your knuckle. You can use a tool like this and just pull down on your control arm. Now at the top of your knuckle you have 2 19mm bolts and nuts. You need to remove those. Once you remove those bolts, now you can just tap on your strut to remove it from your knuckle. Just a quick note, your strut has 2 holes in it. This one is oblong, that is for this bolt here. This one is straight, that's there. Make sure you put that one there and that one there. That way when you bring the vehicle to your alignment shop, they can do a proper alignment. Now we're at the press. You need to press your hub out first. Just make sure you're level. You have your mounts onto something that's sturdy. Once you press out your hub, you need to remove your seal from the back side. Pop that off. After you remove your seal, your inside bearing will come straight out. Now you have a C-clip here. You need to squeeze together and pull out from the back side. Take your C-clamp pliers, squeeze together, and pull it out. Now we're back over at the press. You want to press the rest of your bearing out from the front to the rear. And there's the rest of your bearing. We flipped our knuckle over and we need to press the bearing in from the back side. So you want to put your bearing down first, make sure it's straight. And it's a little trick. You can take your old bearing race, which is the same diameter as your bearing, put it on top, put your flat piece in, and press the old bearing up against the new bearing into the knuckle. And that's your bearing pressed into your knuckle. Before you install your hub into your bearing, you want to install your new seal. That way it goes in between those two pieces. Make sure that's nice and flush. Remove your center plastic piece and get ready to press the hub into the bearing. Now we're ready to install our hub onto our bearing. You need to have something on the back side to hold the bearing from popping out the other side. Make sure your hub spins inside the bearing. That's how you press the hub into the bearing, into the knuckle. Now it's time to reinstall our C-clip. You need to do that right in that little ridge there. Make sure that's seated all the way around. Now it's time to install your seal on the rear. Same as the front. Make sure it's flat. Use your seal installer. And now let's get ready to put it back on the vehicle. Just a note, when you're replacing anything in this knuckle, you replace everything. Now we're back over to the vehicle, ready to install our knuckle back onto the lower control arm. You can do that by sliding your ball joint onto your knuckle. Make sure it's properly seated all the way down. Install your pinch bolt. Now you want to slide your axle into the back side of your knuckle by pulling down on the lower control arm. Slide your axle into the back side of the knuckle. Align your 2 bolt holes for your strut to your knuckle. The one with the oblong goes on the top. Install your nuts. Now install your tie rod into your knuckle. Now install your ABS sensor into your knuckle. And tighten and torque your bolts. I'm going to start with the lower ball joint pinch bolt. And that's torqued at 37 foot-pounds. Then on to our strut to knuckle bolts. And those are torqued down to 129 foot-pounds. Now onto our ABS speed sensor. And that gets torqued down to 25 foot-pounds. Now on to our outer tie rod nut. That gets torqued down to 19 foot-pounds. Before you put your cotter pin in, make sure your hole lines up with your castle nut. And bend your tabs. Before we install our rotor, you can put some anti-seize on your hub. Slide your rotor back on. You want to make sure your brake hose is straight and not twisted, like that. Slide your brake caliper bracket over your rotor. And install your 2 bolts. Once you've tightened those 2 down, you want to torque them at 59 foot-pounds. To install your wheel, slide your wheel over your lug nut studs and install your lug nuts. You want to tighten those in a star pattern. And torque those down to 65 foot-pounds. Once you've lowered your car down to a flat surface, now it's time to torque. You also want to torque in a star pattern.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.